So now looking at our wireframe, we can visualize our HTML and how it's supposed to be laid out on our web page. So let's open up our editor, and I'm going to make the styles a little bit smaller so we can jump into our editor and start creating our HTML structure. So when we look at our wireframe, we have a pretty good idea of where we want to start and how we want to build out our website. So we notice that essentially we do have three separate sections. So we have a header section, and maybe I'll just call this one, so the middle area is just going to be called section, and then this is where our content would go, and then lastly we've got a footer area. So I'm going to create all the three main areas first, and then I'm going to build within these areas as we go as we work through the different lessons. And within this section, so what I wanted to do is I actually wanted to have two separate sections within here. And with HTML5, there's different semantics that we could use in order to indicate different parts of our website. So we want to have a two-column website, so we want to have two separate areas or two separate dividers within here as well. So we can use section, we can use article. Maybe what I'm going to do is use section, and outside of it, I'm going to wrap the sections within a div. So just like that, so we would have section 1, which I'm going to give an ID in order to be able to differentiate and select it out from my HTML code. So maybe we will call this primary. So this is our main content area. And then this one is going to be called, so what should we call it? Secondary. So now we've got two clear content areas. We've got our header area, and within this header area we actually have two different sections as well. So we have one that's going to contain the navigation, and this navigation is going to need to move around, so we're going to need to separate that out as well into a different element, and as well as the company information and logo and so on. So a number of different ways to do this, but let's use standard HTML5 nav, and then within the nav, this is where we're going to create our navigation area. And then again, maybe here we're just going to use a div in order to separate out, and then within this div we'll have our H1, and this will be company info, so something about the company, and then maybe below it we have our, this is the greatest company. So now we've got some content in there, and over here I'm going to do an H2. So this will be maybe some kind of introduction to the company itself, and then over here is going to be sub menu or advertisements, links, so anything that we want to highlight in regards to our content. So let's go back out to our website, take a quick look at this, and really doesn't look like much because we haven't applied any of the styling yet. But remember, this is just building out that initial structure and what we want our website to look like. So let's go back into our editor and finish up some of the basics structure that we're going to need when we build out our website. So within the footer, so we can add in some copyright information. You can set the copyright icon there, or you could use your own. So company name, address, contact us for more info, and maybe some of that contact information, and navigation menu. So typically when we're building out navigation menus, you're going to see the unordered list being used. So we're going to keep that, we're going to do that as well. So we're going to do like a really standard navigation menu. And when you're applying CSS, it really doesn't matter what tags you're using, but the reason that we use unordered lists is because it presents the content in a more readable fashion. So when you're going through here and you're looking at the navigation menu, so without the styling, it's just going to be an unordered list, and this is going to present maybe the three different we're going to have actually three different pieces, three different main content pages to our website. So we're going to have our home page. So within here, I should put an href. And this is going to link out to our home page. So right now I'm just going to leave that hash there in order to indicate that as a placeholder. And so it's first going to link out to the home page, and I'm going to copy this out and duplicate it out. So next we'll link out to maybe an about or contact, and maybe we'll put some products. So we'll have a product gallery. So maybe this is a website that the purpose of the website is to highlight some products that the company is making. So maybe we can have a gallery of those products and show those. And so this is going to be really simple web page, home page, so starting page that the user comes in on, products or information about the company, or if you have services, you can list them there, or even a portfolio. If you had a portfolio of different, if you're a web designer, you had a portfolio of different websites, you could do that there. And then of course contact information. So we're going to keep our menu really minimized because we're not going to actually change the icon when the website shrinks. So you might see that quite often. Whenever the website shrinks down, we get this menu icon, and then there's a drop down menu, and we can, those types of menus are good if you've got a lot of pages. But if you've got a really simple website where you've got 3 pages, then sometimes it's better just to shrink this down and actually only maybe take up a third of the available space each for each one of these menu items, and never actually hide the menu on the resize. And we're going to be showing you how to do this as we progress through the course. Let's finish this up and add in some dummy content. So this is going to be my main, I'm just going to call it wrapper, because this is what I want to wrap around my main content area, and I want the content to sit in there. So we're going to call that just wrapper. And if I want the footer to fall in line with the text sections as we did in our design, I need to move my footer actually inside of my wrapper. And this is going to become more evident as we add in our CSS. So let's generate some dummy text. So maybe we'll have several paragraphs, bring the characters down. So maybe something like 3 paragraphs, select all. And notice I've checked off that the HTML paragraph tags, as this just makes it easier to copy and paste within my web content. And I don't think I'm going to separate this out anymore. And maybe over here we're going to have a little bit shorter dummy text. Maybe just some highlighted points or something like that. So let's take a look at that and place that in the content. So now again, going back out to our website, it really doesn't look like much. Everything is kind of stacked there. We've got no styling whatsoever applied, but I promise you we are going to get to the styling, and that's where really the magic is going to happen. So all of this is coming up in the next set of lessons.